Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. Welcome to the Weekly Pint. For anybody that's new to this, it's not a show. Lest it seem like a show, lest it feel like a show, sound like a show, look like a show. It's not. It is. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to hang out together, mostly live. It does exist afterwards via YouTube or Facebook, or sometimes the podcast stream when I actually find the time to upload to the podcast stream for the handful of people that listen to it via the podcast stream. Sorry, you should probably head over to YouTube or Facebook and make sure you watch it that way because it's more fun. It's a way for us to sit and drink together. And we do drink because it's a happy hour. So as you get on live, feel free to tell us what it is that you are imbibing in. And I will do the same when we get around to it. What is this little light that I'm seeing? Oh, that's my... That's the screen of the mixer. I moved the camera just a little bit because I felt like it was a little too close. So I bumped it just a little bit. And now I've got this right in the way, and it's going to bother me. Let me see if I can fix that. There's always something. That's the other thing about a show that is not a show. There's always something that goes wrong. Luckily, I've got this little piece of tape just hanging out right here. We can just do this. There. Now you can't even see it. And if I need to check, I can just lift this and peek and make sure we're still... I can see if it's still recording. This is all ridiculous, you guys. Why do I do this to myself? But like I mentioned, it's an excuse for us to hang out and drink together. So as everybody jumps on, they will hopefully tell us what they're drinking. Marco says he is having a Headhunter. That is a delicious IPA. Josh is having a Beer for Humans from Rheingeist. Also a great beer. Let's see. Oh, Marco is criticizing Facebook for notifications for not going off as he jumped from YouTube to Facebook. It doesn't matter. It's all the same show, and the chat is always over here on the side for anybody who wants to see all of the chat. Let's see. Now he's reminding me he's having a Headhunter. There's gin and tonic earlier. Have to work tomorrow. Understand that. This is the struggle this week and last week for that is trying to find ways to work to still manage all of the holiday expectations, all of that stuff. Let's see. Alex is having a Fib Polar Vortex, also a great choice. I'm going to kick things off a little well, it's not different if you've been watching the show the last month or so. But it's kind of a fun little tradition that I'm enjoying. We're going to kick it off with some schnapps. I have a little tiny schnapps glass, and I am going to flip it just a little bit from where I've been going. We've got the peppermint schnapps back here, which is amazing. But somebody asked me about another schnapps that I've mentioned a few times on the show, and I figured we go ahead and we drink it. This is pine schnapps. Specifically, this is Zierbens. For anybody who enjoys schnapps, you can definitely find this. You can I get mine down at Party Source, but I'm assuming you can find it at some other places around town too. Zierbens. Oh, I forgot to... We can get a little bit more light on it so you can see it. There we go. It is a stone pine liqueur of the Alps. It is from Josef Hofer Steinermark. I don't know what any of this means. From Austria. It is 70 proof. Oh, and there's a big old long story on the back here. All right, let's read this and see what it says. It says Zierbens draws its flavor from the natural red color from the freshly picked fruit of the Arola stone pine, grown in the Austrian Alps. With a taste and nose instantly familiar, Zierbens is exceptionally smooth, slightly sweet, and has a crisp pine floral finish. Generations of mountaineers practiced in the art of harvest work with Josef Hofer to create this artisanal liqueur. Enjoy après-ski as an after-dinner beverage, or as the highlight to a mixer. Handcrafted and bottled in Austria by Josef Hofer, a family distillery since 1797. All right. Well, I guess I can switch this back. Let's pop it open. All right. This does mean that I'm going to have to start looking for more schnapps to add to the repertoire if we're going to kick off every show with a little nip of schnapps. I specifically love European schnapps as opposed to what America is calling schnapps with some of the sickly sweet stuff that's out there. Peppermint with some chocolate liqueur. That sounds good. If it's more proof, do you need more IDs to show the bartender? No. I just I wear a shirt that says Gnarly Gnome, and I walk in, and that is proof enough for anybody. Like, oh yeah, this guy needs his schnapps. It is a pretty kind of reddish color. You can see it pretty good in that light. This new little setup here, this drink cam that we're doing, may be a fantastic way to show off the color of things. We'll see with the beer later. Although if you're looking very closely on that angle, you can probably see the beer tucked away in the corner. It's kind of hard to tell with that light in front of it, though. All right, let's dive into this. I can't figure out where to set this that it's not like right in the middle of the shot. All right. At the very beginning, when you first get it underneath your nose, there is like a slightly kind of medicinal thing that's happening. Reminds me of like, this is going to sound disgusting, but it's a little bit like cough syrup. Just a little bit. And then as you kind of let your nose adjust to it, you start to get some of that floral. I'm not getting a lot of the pine yet. Yeah, but still medicinal. All right, let's dive in. All right. Oh yeah. All right. When you first taste it, immediately you get smacked with this big booziness, but then that pine comes in, and then it finishes with a little bit of the medicinal kind of cough syrupy thing. And then ends completely with the floral kind of notes. Oh, it's so good. It's not as Christmassy as some of the other pine schnapps that I've had are. It's way more just kind of outdoorsy, I guess is how I would put it. Not like, definitely not wintry necessarily, but just like outdoorsy. Like I could sit and sip this around a campfire and be very happy about it. And in fact, I might do that this summer sometime if I don't finish it before then. We've got a little bit to go. The good thing about this is that these are most schnapps that I keep in the house, not the peppermint, but definitely most of the other stuff that'll come and go, is not something that my wife is ever going to come down and steal from the bar. Let's see. Christine wants to know, do you drink it room temp? I do. I've heard that it goes really good in a couple cocktails. I don't know off the top of my head what cocktails, but those would obviously be chilled. But yeah, I just sit and sip it room temperature. Or if it's if I fill a flask with something, it'll be cold because I'm drinking it out in the cold. But I just sit around the house and drink it room temp. It's almost like there's like a candy kind of thing going on. Candy pine is what I would call it. Is that a thing? Is there pine candy? That sounds good. Like little root beer barrels, but pine flavored. Oh yeah, does that exist? I mean, just straight up like Christmas. You do a pine and then a peppermint, and oh man. I'm still feeling a little festive. Obviously, some of that has faded away after coming out of the Christmas week and into New Year's, but I'm still there. We went to Hang on, let me kill this, and then we'll talk about what I've been up to. Oh, it's tasty. Oh, that pine. Oh, it's so good. And then you can feel it kind of come down and warm you from the inside. Oh, it's so good. Julia says that pine needle extract candy is a thing. I need it. Santa blood. Is that too dark? That's a good name. Christine says it makes sense. I was thinking the flavors are not a chilled sort of vibe. It might be good chilled, but no. To me, this strikes me as something again that you should be drinking outside. You should be sitting on like maybe a little bit of a chilly night, not cold by any stretch. Sitting around a campfire, just sipping on this, I think is where that shines. Santa's blood. I feel like that's a good cocktail name, but it's got to be like, I don't know. If you've ever had the sleigh bomb that March 1st does when they have their Swiss chocolate stout, it's a Swiss chocolate stout with a shot of the peppermint schnapps in it. I feel like that could be called Santa's blood, but it almost needs to have a little bit of like a red hue to it. So excuse me. Fretboard had Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop, which was like a cocoa red ale, I think. It was red, and that with a little bit of peppermint schnapps, maybe that could be Santa's blood, because you got that chocolate and you got the peppermint. I'll work on this. So there is a way to do it. All right, let's dive into tonight's drink. I broke out the glassware collection to dig this one out for tonight's beer. It's a little coffee mug, and I don't know if you can read it on there, but this is the Dark Charge taster glass. I can't think of how you'll be able to read it. You can't really read it. Dark Charge taster glass from 2 years ago. Last year was the wine glass. This is 2 years ago. This year's taster glass was great. It was like this really cool, like tall glass, and I got home and I was pulling all the bottles out of the box and knocked the glass right off the counter and shattered it. Right as I was showing my wife all of my spoils of Dark Charge Day. And it broke, and it broke my heart. And now I need to find a way to get another one, because I've never missed one of the glasses. I keep forgetting to switch the camera back. I've never missed one of the glasses. I have a really great collection of Dark Charge glasses. Christine says it's so cute. Oh my God, did you get the Dark Charge ice cream? I didn't. So with your box, your stuff you ordered, you got a free like sample of Dark Charge ice cream, and I took it and I stuck it in my pocket and I said, I'm gonna get that later, and then I never did. I don't know if I could still take that coupon and go to there and get a free sample of it. I don't know, but I'm gonna buy some at some point. They sell it in all the Braxton tap rooms, as far as I know. All right, we're gonna crack this one open now. Typically, and this is how bad I am with not only drinking my barrel-aged beers that are stuck in the cellar sometimes, but also just how much of it I've got. Typically, I will drink coffee beers as quickly as possible, because it is one of those adjuncts that drops off pretty fast, and I don't always like what happens to it after that flavor does drop off. So that the fact that this is now 2 years later and I'm just now getting to it tells you how backed up I am with everything and how little I've been drinking big barrel-aged stouts. But New Year's resolution, maybe, number one, I'm going to drink more of them. I do this every year. I tell myself I'm going to drink through the cellar more than I did the previous year, and I never really do. I mean, I do pretty good. I've gotten it down a little bit. I've tried to start getting through most of the barrel-aged stuff, barrel-aged like imperial stouts, and go heavier on sour beer. So the cellar, I always point back here. It's around the corner here where that red light is over there. That's the beer cellar. Most of what's in there right now is barrel-aged sour beer, things like that. It definitely it ages wonderfully. Christine says no dry January. No, I will not do dry January. Maybe we'll. I didn't put that in the notes, so I don't have a little artwork for it or anything. But I don't think dry January is fun. Julia says they spelled Mackinac wrong. Yes. Anybody who is familiar, it looks like Mackinac. It is Mackinac. All right, we're gonna dive into this. We're opening it with a different knife. Maybe I'll start doing that. I will start rotating through some knives of whatever I'm opening a beer with, and I'll tell you what it is. This is a fun little knife from Wren, W-R-E-N. Orange and black. I'll give you 2 guesses why I chose orange and black tonight, but yeah. Let's Oh, this is good wax too. Really nice and thin. You probably don't even need a knife to open this. We will just to give another chance to use a knife. Although my wife did make the joke. Might have been my wife. I don't know who made it. Somebody made the joke this last week that Christmas week is like the 1 week of the year that all of us who carry pocket knives in our daily lives, we just wait for this week because it's like that 1 week where everywhere you go, everybody needs a knife. Everybody's like, hey, does somebody have a knife? And you, yes, I do. Of course, I always do. It's like it's knife carriers holiday, I guess. Christine wants to know how I feel about wax seals. I don't... From a beer perspective, I don't care at all. I don't think it does anything really to change or protect or anything like that, the beer. However, from an aesthetic perspective, I love it. Like if I'm buying something special, I want it in a bottle and I want it to have wax dip on it. Personally, because it's pretty. It's a prettier presentation, and I think presentation matters. All right, let's open it up. Mackinac Island, part of their... They did a like a coffee roasters box. I don't remember what they called it. Maybe it'll tell me on here. Let's see. The Roasters Reserve. 2022 Roasters Reserve. This is from Wah Coffee Emporium. I assume somewhere up north because of the whole... Mackinac Island thing. This Dark Charge collaboration variant features bold flavors of roasted coffee, caramel, and sweet chocolate. These notes are brought forward to bolster the familiar caramel and cocoa flavors that are found in Dark Charge after its 12-month barrel aging period, in collaboration with Coffee Emporium. Maybe it doesn't say... It does not say wah. It says with. Okay, I'm not an idiot. Hang on. Let me get this up closer so you guys can see this. You can't tell me that looks like with. Wah Coffee Emporium. It's Coffee Emporium here in Cincinnati. That makes way more sense. I figured it was something up north. No, it makes sense that it's a local coffee roaster, of course. I guess they just make a coffee blend or something that is Mackinac Island fudge. Maybe not. Maybe it's just all pure coincidence. We'll put that there for now. We'll probably be diving back into it. All right. Let's taste it. It's dark. Here, let's see if the drink can picks it up. Yeah, dark. I wish we had a lighter beer now to see if that works. All right. See if the coffee has hung on good. Oh, I get chocolate, just straight up chocolate. One of my favorite things about Dark Charge is just how chocolatey it is. I think it's a great kind of chocolatey, roasty imperial stout, which some of them tend to go boozier. Not that these aren't big beers. This one, in fact, is 12.4%. So it is a big beer, but still kind of roasty, chocolatey. All right, let's see. Ooh, oh man. I'm not getting a ton of coffee. I am getting a lot of chocolate. Yeah, roasty chocolate. It almost, if you poured this for me and just told me it was the base dark charge, I might believe you. Without trying it next to the base, I can't say how different it is, but that's a good beer. But yeah, the coffee has kind of dropped off, which I think I have one more coffee one in there, which probably need to crack open. Maybe I'll take it tomorrow, because tomorrow is New Year's, for anybody that did not know. So maybe I'll take it tomorrow, and we'll drink it and see if there's any coffee left in that, which I'm doubting with the way this tastes that there will be. Let's jump into the stories for the week, because I do have a few different, I have 4 different things that I want to talk about. So let's without wasting any time, jump into it. And if anybody wants to go down a different rabbit hole, feel free to tell me, and we'll jump down whatever you want to jump down. Because again, it's not a real show, so we can do whatever we want. Christine says chocolatey sounds good. No, yeah, don't get me wrong. This is a good beer, but it is definitely more chocolatey than it is coffee-y. Let's talk about Taft's again. I know we talked about them a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, whenever they made the announcement. It's official. Taft's is not gone. The brand has been purchased by Sinbev, but the locations are officially just all gone. The last one finally closed its doors. However, they are staying in business, but the other side of their business, called Impact, is the part that is going to keep existing. So I'm wording it as Impact has consumed Taft's because that side of the business grew so much that it just didn't make sense anymore. Illuminati is going down to there. There's a lot of kind of bigger places that are going to be struggling. So I'm still on the fence about how I feel about Taft's going away. I am holding out hope, and maybe this is kind of the perpetual optimist that I am. I'm holding out hope that at some point, not only does Sinbev bring the beers back, which I definitely think we'll see, but I'm hoping that they also bring back a location. I think that it is prime for them as they kind of get. I'm going to put this up, or else I'm going to sit and fiddle with it and make noise the whole show. We'll put it right there. I'm hoping that as they get their feet under them with their brewery and the taproom space, once they get all that figured out, that they can then start growing into a couple different locations. And some of those locations can have different personalities. In my head, one of them being a Taft's Ale House. I would love to see something downtown that is a brew pub, Taft's branded, good food. That's what I would like. There's a location open in Mason. Yes, there is a location open in Mason. Also a location open in Newport, which would be interesting. You know, like not that this is anything that is on their radar or anyone's radar, but if the the 16 lot Southern Outpost location became a new Taft's Ale House, like next week, you can't tell me people wouldn't be excited about that. You know, bring back like a tri-tip menu, tri-tip heavy menu. I think it could be fun. But again, I'm the perpetual optimist to a fault. I actually think if it was done right, it could work. I don't. It's obviously an uphill battle to convince people that a new Taft's is the same as an old Taft's or better than an old Taft's. It's also an uphill battle to do anything like that down there at the levee, in my opinion. It probably makes more sense to kind of let the brand kind of sit for a little bit, let people kind of drop all their expectations so that when you reintroduce it, however you want to do that, people are kind of coming at it with a fresh perspective of what that could be. Probably. But I think it would be fun if Sinbev did some interesting things with the brand. I don't know that all of the brands under Taft's have to look the same way they used to. I think that there is a little bit of opportunity there to maybe make some canned cocktails or something that are branded as Taft's. We'll see. We'll see how they handle it. Moving on. That's just a short little story about that. I want to talk about success, because this is any rumors about March 1st. There's always rumors about everybody. There's been a lot of. I'm writing a very big article about this, about kind of why breweries fail, why breweries succeed, how it all makes sense, how it all doesn't make sense. I'm fascinated, especially now as we start wrapping in bars and restaurants and places like that, as I start kind of shifting my focus and expanding my focus as I'm writing this, to understand why, we'll say places, why some places are able to make it work, why some places are able to engage their audience not just with their product, but with their spaces, with their personality even. There's some places that when they hit hard times, they can just reach out and they can say, hey, we're struggling, we need your help, and people will flock to them to help. And then there's other places that say that, and everybody laughs and says, well, there's a bubble, didn't you hear? See you later. And nobody cares. And why those connections sometimes work and why they don't work, and why some places don't make it fascinates me. And it's a little easier to define when it comes to like individual pieces of it. Like, it's easy to look at beer, we'll say, and if somebody says this place closed because their beer wasn't any good, you can say, oh yeah, that makes sense. And the space, oh, this place closed because, man, it just was hard to get to and it was uncomfortable and nobody liked it. And that, again, makes sense. You can pick any individual thing, and they all make sense. But when you mix it all together, it all of a sudden doesn't make sense at all. You're like, well, why did this place close? Well, their beer wasn't any good. Well, yeah, but the people were so great, and the space was amazing, and the food. Oh, did you try the food? And you can list like 10 other reasons why it should have worked. And then on the flip side, you can look at some places and be like, why did this place close? The beer was so good. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the space wasn't that great. And the people were kind of, standoffish. And okay, well, I guess that makes sense. And it's like, none of it makes sense. So it's been really interesting to me to kind of start breaking it apart and figuring it out. It also kind of has kept poking at this lingering thing in my head that I can't let go about understanding the measure of success for breweries and for places. Rivertown to Muller Brewhouse, yes. It's interesting seeing how how places and things change. The measure of success for places, I think, is still just endlessly, again, fascinating for me, trying to understand not only why does a place fail, but why are some places quicker to let a place fail versus others. There are some people that arguably are operating what some people call a failing business and don't care that they're operating a failing business because that's not why they're doing it. It's interesting, and I'm definitely kind of consumed with that right now. I'm curious to hear from you guys specifically, since we're hanging out over a drink, to what in your mind makes a successful brewery. Is it one specific thing? Is it a combination of a couple things? Are there places that as soon as you say that, buck that trend, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, you have to, I've always heard that it's you take the three pieces of it. I don't know who originated this. I've heard it from a couple different people. You need a good location, good beer, or good story. And you need two of those things. If you have two of those things, you're fine. If you have all three, you're incredible, but you just need two of them to work. And then I look at some places that will only have one of them, and they do just fine, or are doing just fine. I look at some places that had at least two of them, if not all three, that didn't work. So it just completely erases that whole theory out of my mind. And so I'm curious to hear from you guys. Is there some kind of secret to it in your mind that makes a place successful or a place a failure? And if so, what is that? Does it change if we're talking about bars? Does it change if we're talking about restaurants? I don't know. Are breweries really different than these places? The media in the world right now wants to shout from the rooftops that they're not the same and or that they're not different. I mean, that they're the same thing, and that's why they're going to fail and why we're going to see this big shift lately is because we're hitting the same thing that we've seen for years with restaurants. And I don't buy it. I don't know. If anybody has a thought, please let me know while I take another sip of this big old beer. Oh, yeah, that's good. All right. Let's see if we can get the... here's the number. 56770 drink. It's pretty easy to remember. You should also just put it in speed dial. You can call it any time. You don't have to call during a show. You can leave a message at any time, and I will play it on the show. It's 567-703-7465, if that helps. Julia says, to me, it has to be a combination of things. A space can't hinge on one positive, but those things may be different for each brewery. There may be 5 to 8 things on my list to call a brewery a success, in my opinion, or not. Hey, you're on the Weekly Pint. Who am I talking to?
Hey, it's Lachlan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I had some thoughts.
I'd love to hear them.
Well, so you were talking about the different things that make a brewery good.
Yes.
Right. So, you talk about location is good. It's about gimmick. It's like all the ones that have been failing lately have been expanding too quickly. And it's I always look at I look at Taft. Many places they're expanding really quickly and moving too quickly because of 2020 and the whole COVID expansion, right?
Right. But then we have other places too that kind of expanded very rapidly at the same time, and we'll say we'll use Braxton as the example.
Yeah,
kind of expanded at the same time, and they seem to be doing fine. So again, everything that I can identify that it's so and so did this. That's probably why they failed. Then I look at somewhere, I just turn my head around the corner. I'm like, well, they did that too, and they're fine with it. It can't be that one thing, right?
Braxton's an outlier, though. It's like Rhinegeist and Matry have moved very slowly in the markets,
Yeah.
And then, but 16 lots moved very quickly, and so did all the breweries that have been shut down, they just moved really quickly. I'm just saying, like 2020 was a weird thing where it gave people comfort in the expansion.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think there was a lot of cheap expansion available. Cheap is a relative word, but there was easy expansion. There were a lot of people ready for somebody to come in and bring some business to an area that needed it.
Yeah. And so there was a market for the expansion, and then that market kind of collapsed. So now you've got the main guys still out there. Braxton was weird. Like Braxton really expanded quickly.
Did it actually collapse? Because Julia points out the Fretboard has been a faster-ish moving, expanding brewery too, and like they seem to not that I know that they're still looking for more expansion, but like just with recently opening up Harrison, they're still kind of expanding. So I don't know that that's over with. Mad Tree getting ready to open Parks and Rec. Like there's still some of that same expansion happening.
Well, yeah, the market's there. I'm not saying expansion. I just say I feel like they moved too quickly in different markets, and it was because of COVID, and so now everyone's still trying to get their feet on underneath them.
Do you think?
I really think 2020 just really messed everybody up.
Yeah, 100%. It got everybody confused about what numbers are actually real, which ones aren't. That's why everybody talks about this shrinking craft beer market and the shrinking drinking market, we'll call it, how much less people are drinking than they have been in previous years. We're just now coming back to that pre-COVID level. Like there was a big spike during COVID, and now people are just back to drinking the same amount they were during COVID. People aren't drinking less. They might be drinking less beer, but they're not drinking less. But the numbers are very strange because of that huge spike during COVID. I'm curious your opinion on 16 lots. We'll go ahead and use them as an example. Do you think that if instead of opening the Southern Outpost as another almost identical in size brewery, if they had just gone tap room, would it have been successful or no?
I think that when they expanded, I think that was their mistake. They expanded. They didn't need to. There was no reason to. They were pushing the market.
Right.
Like they had a good market where they were at, and they were trying to expand too quickly, but they didn't understand. Like they're microcosms of markets. Like so, Newport's a different market than Mason is.
Yes.
And so they didn't understand the market they were moving into because they didn't understand who was there. Braxton had a good market there. So you kind of messed up there. Right?
Well, and even at that, then, Braxton had the tap room in the Party Source, the Labs, that closed. They closed their Newport tap room. Well, maybe you could argue that they couldn't make Newport work as a tap room location either. Was it Newport? Was it just too close to the other one? Like why do some things work and other things not? It's fascinating.
They're micro markets. They're micro markets. They're like literally like down the street. Like in Mason, we've got how many? We've got like 16 pizza places or something.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why do we have 16 pizza places? And they all work, but we don't know why. And we've got a small microbrewery up here nano brewery with Common.
Right.
And then the BC's just opened up. But they're all working right now.
Well,
I was in there the other day. They closed down BC's in Westchester because they were trying to focus on their main brewery market. You know? So
it makes it interesting to. You can't say, or maybe you could, but I would not say that like you can't have a brewery in Newport. Like, look, Braxton closed theirs and 16 Lots closed theirs, so it just you can't do another brewery in Newport. There's already enough breweries. You got Wooden Cask, and you've got Darkness right outside there in Bellevue, so there's no room for anybody else. And I think that's a load of crap. I just think if you had the right space that understands like a gap in that market, that it could be just fine, kind of the way Mason kind of exists too.
Pass could move there if they wanted to. It's like you got to find the niche,
Yeah.
Like Braxton found it. That's why they started. You know, and now they're buying up everybody around. Same with March 1st. I'm like, where'd that come from? I live up by Fig Leaf, and it's like, it's a March 1st property.
Yeah.
They own everything up here. So where'd that come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and just, why is it still working? Like, Fig Leaf is not. It's busy sometimes, but it's like, really, is it busy? I don't know.
Yeah, I actually think Fig Leaf is doing great from what I understand. But
I'm still fine, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like Rivertown. They could move into Rivertown. Like,
yeah,
why would they do that right now?
yeah.
Because they could then ramp up their production stuff, right? But they're focused on more of their seltzer stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
another topic.
it just I think that it brings up a great point of, like, if a brewery, it's not expansion itself that is the problem. It's like expanding without understanding why you're moving into the place you are and what that place actually needs. You can't just copy and paste what you've been doing somewhere else necessarily. That's
a really good point.
If you choose your location really well, you can. If you find another place that needs exactly what you already did, maybe it would work. But I think you need to pay really close attention to the place that you're moving into and give them what they need. And that may look completely opposite of what you've already done, or it may kind of look similar. And maybe that's why people have not understood it.
Yeah, there's so many different breweries that have already done that, like Big Ass Brewery down there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got trying to remember the other brewery. Like you find your market, you go in and you establish it, and it's worked really well. The people that kind of go over the top is where they get caught, and so Anyway, cool.
Marco is pointing out that Fig Leaf is busy, and they are not making seltzer at Fig Leaf. They make beer. I think most of the
Fig Leaf.
Yeah, most of the seltzer is coming from Blue Ash or around the Blue Ash tap room. I think they have a warehouse. My understanding.
Yeah, I haven't found I haven't had good beer there in a while, so that's my own perspective. It's down the street, so
yeah, I like the Fig Leaf.
Got Lebanon opened a brewery too, right?
Yeah,
like they've got their own niche as well.
Julia says that the Levy needs a brewery bookstore combo in the space that 16 Lots was in, reminiscent of Walden Books and Barnes & Noble, where you can read and buy books while you're enjoying your craft beer that is brewed in-house. I like that, especially if it felt more like a small, like, independent kind of bookstore kind of thing, like that really kind of, nerdy book vibe. Like, I think it could work great. And that's if you find something that fits a need or something that doesn't exist. There's plenty of room.
Man. Let's rock it.
Christine says a board game and bookstore. See, you guys should open a brewery.
We're leading a direction here.
Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate the opinions and the thoughts. I think you hit on a couple of really great points here.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Have a good one. It's endlessly fascinating to me because every time I think I figure it out, I'll see a place close or I'll get a different idea. And I'm like, oh no, I think I might have been wrong. What does success even mean? I think that does kind of start to touch on a bigger topic too that obviously I've been talking about a lot of what defines success. Like, what does that even mean? Does success mean making the biggest possible brewery that can make the most beer possible? I don't think so, but I obviously couldn't fault somebody who did think that. So I don't know, and I will be exploring that a lot over the next year. Before we hit the New Year's topic, let's jump over and let's talk about West 6th. We probably should have mentioned that when we were talking about places expanding. West 6th has been here for a while. They were operating out of a shipping container, and they have just closed it closed every winter. It was not open during the winter, but they just permanently closed the tap room in a box, which was such a weird kind of idea. It worked for them. It kind of got them their little foothold here again in Newport, and kind of a picture of what that market looked like, so that when they were able to open their own tap room, they could serve that market the way they needed to. ideally, we'll see how they do with the tap room. Maybe they knock it out of the park. Maybe they don't. But that tap room is now opening. They have announced that they are going to open on the 11th at 11 a.m. It is located on West 6th Street in Covington, in the old Covington House space, and they're calling it Covington House. They got permission from McNoll's family to do that. The first 150 people that are in the door get a ceramic stein from the brewery. I'm very cautiously optimistic. The pictures of the tap room that I've seen finished don't look amazing. It doesn't look like they did a ton to the space to give it some kind of new personality. I'm refraining from any negative judgment until I really get there and see it. I like West 6th. I think they make great beer, good, solid beer. And I think that it could have a place here in Cincinnati. I've heard conflicting reports of if they're actually going to make beer on location there. I don't know. I hope that they have some kind of little pilot system and can make some fun little exclusive Covington beers, but I don't know if that's actually in the plans. I don't think I will be able to make it on the 11th, which breaks my heart. That it's like, I don't know how many breweries in a row that I was not able to make it to their grand opening. But that is just kind of the way my life works now. But I'll make it there. If I don't make it on the grand opening, I'll make it soon after. And I will obviously give a full report about my thoughts about the space and about the beer and about West 6th in general and what they're doing. But they hopefully, I'm trying not to say too much here. Hopefully we'll get them on for an episode of Cincy Brewcast in the near future. Hopefully. We're working on it. We're still talking about the idea of a bookstore, brewery, board gaming place, comic book store idea. Julia says a space to sit and read books, comics, etc. Another space to play board games, card games, Magic to poker. I think that there's room for it. I would hesitate to make it lean too much into kind of the niche kind of hobbies, because then people think that that's all it is. At the same time, I was a little concerned when Fabled was opening that it was going to cater too much to kind of that kind of nerdy crowd, and that other people wouldn't want to go there. And that doesn't seem to have happened. Like, it seems like everybody is comfortable there. So, what do I know? As soon as you think you got it figured out, you don't. They did try that at the banks. I don't remember. Definitely not with a brewery, but they might have tried some kind of like board game bar or something. Maybe. Anyways, New Year's. We are headed into New Year's Eve tomorrow. Julia says, Fable, is that a new place? It's a Facebook joke. And Lachlan says it was a bar. Yeah, I don't remember. There was definitely there was the Rook in OTR, which did well until it didn't. There was a new place that just opened up recently that's a kind of a game bar. I can't remember what the name of it was. Free parking, maybe? Where is that? Where is that at? Is that Walnut Hills? Sounds like a Walnut Hills thing. I don't know. Christine points out Cosmic Gorilla, rest in peace. Yes. Yeah, of course, Victory Pines up in Mainville. Christine says the Rook became Copper and Flame. It's a cursed space. It's not a cursed space. It was a good space. There was issues on both of those locations, not location tied. Christine pointed out Cosmic Gorilla. I agree. That was a really, really great concept and really fun. And I was really sad when I heard that it was closing. However, and I have not been to Highball yet, the place that replaced it, but it looks amazing. It looks like so much fun. And I am a huge fan of drinking highballs. For anybody that doesn't know, a highball is basically whiskey and topped off with soda water on ice. It's just like a long way to drink whiskey. You could sit there and sip on whiskey all night and kind of drink it like a beer. They're delicious, and I love them. And that's the whole kind of concept, from my understanding. Excuse me. Is that there's a lot of highballs on the menu. There's also a lot of records. So you can go in there, and they're always spinning records. You can bring your own. If you don't bring your own, or somebody didn't bring their own, whoever is there will just keep kind of putting records on and kind of making music that fits the vibe of what is happening at the time. So if you get a certain type of crowd that's kind of hanging out in there, they'll make the music match kind of that personality of the night. I can't quit fidgeting with things that are sitting in front of me. Right now I'm picking wax off of the bottle cap that I pulled off. Oh, it's so addicting. It's like a fidget toy. Like I'm just going to peel it all off so that I can't anymore. Also, hats off to Braxton for still using fun branded bottle caps. For somebody who bought one of those bottle cap maps like right before cans started dominating the world, we need more branded bottle caps. Rivertown off 63 is cursed. It is not. It is not. Again, other problems. We need to send him a Rubik's Cube. I wondered. Christine says, "Are you into pimple popping videos?" No, not at all. It's disgusting. I've sometimes I see really cool fidget toys online. I'm like, oh yeah, I should get one of those. That seems like fun. And then in my head, I'm like, no, I don't really like to fidget with things. I don't want to do that. And I'm now starting to wonder if maybe I do. Maybe I do need to get a fidget toy of some kind. My kids have an entire bin upstairs full. We call it the fidget bin. It's just full of fidget toys. I need to steal some of theirs. We have we have a lot of those, the IKEA cube shelves. What is it, Calyx now? And they're all over the house. We have. I'm gonna count. So I have one in the other room that has records on it. I have two in my office. We have in the living room. Oh, hang on. All right, so I'm gonna count. Hang on here. 1, 2, 3. Maybe. Oh, yep. And then. Yeah, we have 13 of them in the house. 13 different of these Calyx, or whatever they were called before. 13 of them. One of them is the big giant one, like the, 4x4. Most of them are the 4x2. 13 of them. So we have a lot of cubes. The house is full of cubes. And one of those cubes is the fidget cube, and it's full of fidget toys. But you know what? I'm going to put it tonight, before I fall asleep, I'm going to be sitting in bed, and I'm going to be on Amazon, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to find the perfect fidget toy to sit right here on the desk. The trick is it has to be a quiet fidget toy, though, because you don't want the mic to pick it up. I don't know what it is. That is resolution number 1. Get myself a fidget toy. Resolutions. New Year's is tomorrow. And I don't typically really make resolutions, which is it's not really a fair statement, because I do lots of things that people would consider making resolutions, and I just kind of call it goal setting. Every quarter I'm shifting into some kind of new thing that I'm focusing on, and I guess you could consider that a resolution, I guess. But I do them throughout the year. I don't just all of a sudden in January. I mean, January is the start of a new quarter, but I don't all of a sudden Oh, Christine points out Nito is a sick fidget toy. Oh, we like Nito in the house. That would be a good one, but I need something that's more like. I need something that's almost like clicky, I think. Like a pin that I can click. I lost my train of thought. So I guess January technically is when I do kind of do this sometimes, but I just think of it as part of like the normal process of the year. Like I don't think of it as like here we are, it's the start of this thing, and we need to change my life and do something completely different. With that being said, for the sake of discussion, I'm going to make some resolutions. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I am resolving to do in the coming year, because there's definitely stuff in my head, especially recently with how many places have closed, that I've been thinking a lot about, and that I guess you can consider New Year's resolutions. Resolution number 2, I'm going to drink some more of this beer. Oh, that's good. Let's top off. I think my dog is still awake upstairs. I hear somebody tapping on the floor, and I'm assuming it's him scratching. We think he's allergic to something. I have a theory that he's allergic to chicken, because that is like the main protein that is in his dog food. So we got to figure that out now. Of course, we get a allergic dog. Why not? So the easy one, and one that I have always. Sorry, my computer just made a noise. Oh, it's one of the chats. The easy one, and one that I've definitely. I think if you go back on Cincy Brewcast, one of those first couple years, we did an episode where we talked about New Year's resolutions. And Christine says he's allergic to human dander. That'd be great. He's actually allergic to all of you. It's fine. We'll put him in a little hamster ball. That would be great. We'll keep him from eating things. One of the resolutions that I had in that episode, and one that I have not just every year in January, but every few months, something clicks in my head and I resolve to do this, and that is to drink more craft beer. It's really easy, especially, and I'm going to use it as an excuse, sue me, especially when you create content around other stuff or around things that people think are exciting or that people want to click on and watch or listen to. It's really easy to go to some of the goofy things. Like it's easy to drink pickle wine seltzers and stuff like that. Make a cocktail, make a weird cocktail, drink schnapps. Those are things that are fun. Not that craft beer isn't fun, but craft beer isn't as exciting. It's normal, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be normal. Beer has been around for centuries. It should be normal, but I want to drink more of it, and there's ebbs and flows even in my drinking habits, and sometimes I tend to drink more other stuff, and I want to drink more beer, craft beer, specifically local craft beer. I'm leaning really heavy into that a lot lately, and we'll call that another resolution, that when I do drink a beer, especially if I am going out somewhere to drink a beer, as much as possible, I'm going to drink something that was produced here in Cincinnati or greater Cincinnati as much as possible. And then beyond that, I will stay as close to home or as close to wherever I am as possible. If you're traveling, I think it is completely acceptable to drink the local beer when you're traveling. And I'm not judging anybody for drinking something else. If you want to drink a Headhunter, Marco, drink a Headhunter. I don't judge that at all. But for me, if I've got a we'll say Seeing Colors sitting in front of me, or I don't know the Fatheads version of Seeing Colors. They're kind of hazy IPA. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. I'm going the Mad Tree beer. I'm going the Rheingeist beer. We'll say the new Truth Bomb. I'm drinking that. I'm drinking as local as possible, as much as possible. And that means something to me. I feel like it's what I want to be doing. So do it. And so I'm going to resolve to do that. On that same note, I want to try to eat as local. That doesn't. To try to eat at local places as much as possible. I want to be able to count on one hand how many times I consume fast food in this next year. And fast food is very relative, and I get that. I don't, not that I have anything against McDonald's or Wendy's or Chick-fil-A. I do have a couple things against Chick-fil-A. Not that I have something against these companies and who they are. I don't care. Do your thing. But if I'm spending my money, and we'll talk about that, if I'm putting something into my mouth and consuming it, I want it to be something that I believe in and I feel good about, and that also tastes good. And the thing is, you don't have to sacrifice quality to be supporting local. Christine wants to know if I enjoyed Allen's. Oh yeah, it's been so long since I've been to Allen's. We were the whole family, my side of the family. We were all up at Crone Conservatory with all the kids and the parents and siblings and all that. We were all there, and we were leaving. And this maybe is an example. Not really, because we'll talk about it. We were getting ready to leave, and everybody said, "Oh, well, we should go eat lunch afterwards. Where should we go to lunch?" And everybody started saying Skyline. And I have nothing against Skyline, and it is definitely a local thing. It's not really in the same way that it used to be. And I feel, look, if I'm getting Cincinnati style chili, I'm going to Skyline. I'm going to put that out there. It is my favorite chili. It's the way to go. However, if I'm choosing to take a group of people out, and especially coming off Christmas and we're doing the whole thing, I want to go somewhere else. I want to go somewhere else that makes me feel better about how we're spending our money. And I knew Allen's has just gone under a little bit of an ownership change, and from everything I can tell, they've done it very well. They've made that transition nicely. They are sticking to what they do and trying to keep doing it exactly the same, just with a few updates. So yeah, our meal was great. Everybody afterwards, the people that had not been to Allen's before, everybody was jumping on the group chat. Oh, thank God we went there instead of Skyline. That was so good. Everything was great. Yeah, it was fun. We had a big group. It was probably like, I don't know, 12 people maybe, if my quick math in my head is right, something like that. We had a lot of us, and we called maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes before we were there, maybe, and said, "Hey, we're coming. Is that fine?" And they said, "Oh yeah, it's fine." And they got us back in the back room, put a couple tables together, and everything was great. And they didn't bat an eye. Service was good. Food was great. Yeah, it was a good experience. Christine then points out that I should go to Turf Club if you're on the east side again. It's on my list again. I was there before when it was Terry's. I have not been there since it has made that transition. I do need to stop by there again sometime. Yeah, it was always good before. Malcolm points out that we have some amazing restaurants. We really do. Goodfellas in Pleasant Ridge. Yeah, Goodfellas is dead on. If I want New York style pizza and it's late at night or something, it is so good. That pizza. Christine says, "Oh well, I'm gonna have to go down and say, yeah, it's really good." It was fun. The kids, we got a big fried gator and shrimp appetizer, and the kids were all trying alligator and just having a blast with it. It was a perfect kind of, not to go back to the Christmas season because we're in New Year's now, but when I think of Christmas, I think of experiences like that, just hanging out with family, just having fun. And I guess New Year's kind of goes into that too. It actually does definitely go into that for us, but just, kind of, eating a bunch of fun food, maybe something that you haven't had before, drinking heavily early in the day when you probably shouldn't be drinking heavily. I love those kind of experiences, and it was perfect. Kids all had fun. New Year's resolutions. So yeah, I want to I want to more try to eat and drink locally, and I've gotten a lot of crap about that over the years. People, not as much recently, but like really early on when local craft beer started to become a thing, people almost there were some beer nerds especially. I guess I'm a beer nerd, but the other beer nerds they would almost frown on that. Like, oh, you shouldn't be, drinking local shouldn't be a thing. You should just be drinking whatever is good. And I agree that you should be drinking good and you should be eating good. But look around at what we've got here in Cincinnati. We don't have to go somewhere else to find good beer. We don't have to go somewhere else to find great food. You can drink local and still drink good. And those two things can coexist, and I think they should coexist. And that's a resolution. Julia says Rockefeller's in Reading also. I have never been to Rockefeller's that I can think of, but I have heard about it. There used to be a place over, kind of as you're going down the hill on 125, and is that still? I guess that's still Anderson. In Anderson, there used to be a place there. What was that place called? That was good too. There is good New York style pizza. I'm not saying that Goodfellas is the only one. Speaking of how we spend our money, that's kind of the last one that I put on my list here. Although, if anybody has any resolutions of their own that they want to share, please put them in the chat, because I'm all ears of things that I can do to be a better drinker. Well, I guess I'll kind of free think a few kind of blogger content creator things in a minute, but money. How I spend my money is where it all kind of boils down to over this next year. Any place that I'm going to, be it eating, drinking, those are the easy ones. Eating and drinking, I want to try to make my dollars matter to me. The power of spending $1 is important, and you should feel good about every place that those dollars are going. With that being said, and maybe this is the New Year's resolution, because I'm bad at it. When you spend dollars on anything, it should feel good to you. And I mentioned it earlier that tonight I'm going to jump on Amazon and buy a fidget toy. I spend a lot on Amazon. We do a lot of Amazoning. Sometimes I try to go to stores, but even then I'm going to Meijer, I'm going, Target, places like that. Like I'm not going to as many mom and pop shops as I want to. It's hard to do, and when you're busy, it's easy just to jump on the computer and order something. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we're doing right now, is that I will resolve to be better about that. I've been pretty good about it with kind of work stuff, camera gear. There's a couple great camera shops around town that I do still try to go to. But it's just always easier and usually cheaper to jump on Amazon and do it that way. Where is that line as a consumer? How much money do I have to save before it is worth it to sacrifice that thing that matters? And I don't know. I don't know where that line is for me, and maybe I got to figure that out. Julia says, people forget that resolutions don't have to be serious. I want to try to consume at least 10 different pasta shapes in 2025 and find at least one mushroom or decent lichen group on each side of my hikes. I love the pasta shapes. But that's like one party. You throw a pasta party. You make a bunch of different types of pasta and like 3 different types of sauces. Invite a little group of people over, and you just eat a bunch of pasta. Like, that's fun. Christine says there are so many good local shops in Hyde Park Square. I fell in love, and that's like if it's something that's if I've got like a little free like wiggle window, I can go and I can shop and I can do something. But like sometimes that's sometimes it's tough. I live in Fairfield. To get to Hyde Park is tough. I buy a lot of notebooks. I use notebooks like crazy, and I know that there was. I don't. Last time I was there, it was a great little like stationery store that had a whole little shelf of the notebooks that I like. Every color you can imagine. I get black, but every color you can imagine. Actually, that's not true. Every one of my notebooks is black except for one. I have a green notebook that I use for recipes. But am I going to get in my car, drive all the way over to Hyde Park, walk into the store, get back in my car, drive home? Or am I going to get on Amazon and wait a day? Most of the time I wait a day, and I don't know that that's what I want to do. Julia says, I need to have a pasta party. Pasta puns are happening. I will be more than happy to support a pasta party. Pasta and schnapps. It just keeps getting better. Still no coffee, but chocolate. How are we working here? How are we doing? Can't really tell. You just keep pouring it until it doesn't pour anymore. All right. Got to turn label out, even though it's out of focus. Label out. If I don't know if I should keep going. It's New Year's Eve. We're not. Is anybody working tomorrow? Who else working tomorrow? I guess I technically have to work tomorrow, but I want to talk a little bit about the gnome side of things and what am I resolving for the gnome? Because I don't really talk a lot about kind of the behind the scenes stuff. So there's a couple different sides of what I do. Christine says mac and cheese made with the best lager in Cincy. I have the business, which kind of encapsulates everything. Underneath of that, I have a couple different categories that I sort things into mentally, and then also just when I'm creating projects and things like that. The first project is client work. That's where most of the money comes from. That's any of the social media clients. I do social media management for a couple places. Any of the video projects, any of photo shoots. I still do a little bit of real estate work, a tiny bit of real estate work. I think that was like 1% of what I did last year was real estate stuff, mostly drone work, that kind of stuff. That all falls under that client side of things. Then we have the podcast, which does not generate any money right now. As long as it pays for itself, I'm happy. But it does have its own little category, podcast, and that covers Cincy Brewcast, Drinking with the Gnome. It covers this show that is not a show. All of that falls into that category. We've got the website, which is its own beast of just trying to keep improving that and creating something that is useful, but also does generate some kind of income. We have Patreon is its own category. I kind of split that off into its own category this year. to make a thing out of Patreon, which we haven't really talked about a lot, even on Patreon. I haven't really kind of dove into that. Patreon is going to get a lot more content in 2025. It's not just, you'll still get swag, and the first swag shipment I'm finalizing over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to get all that finalized, and I'm going to make sure it's ready to go. You get the swag stuff, which is why I know a lot of people signed up, but you're also going to start getting some exclusive, I'm going to call them articles. I feel like if they're on there, they're not really articles. They're not blog posts. It's its own little thing just on Patreon right now. They will live on Patreon. Some of them exclusively. They'll never go anywhere else. Some of them will be on Patreon first before they go to the blog. Some of them will go on Patreon first before they go to other places. Because I have a couple ideas that I'm toying with. I've been I've been working on a couple other projects. One of them being a book, which I've been working on forever. It went one direction, and then I scrapped a whole bunch of it and shifted the direction completely to get away from other projects that were just very similar to what I was doing, and I didn't want it to be the same. So I'm going a different direction with it. So we pushed it back way further than I really wanted it to, but it's still happening. So some of that will go to Patreon as I'm working on it, just kind of as a way to kind of get some feedback on it and just to keep feeding things into that. The other thing, which I've never talked to I haven't even told my wife about this idea. I really want to do, and this may never happen. This is like that early in the development side of this mentally. I want to do a magazine. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can make it work. I am in the very early stages of trying to figure out the math of how I could. But I think either like a quarterly magazine, monthly will be awesome. I don't have the manpower for that right now, but quarterly magazine, like a really nicely produced magazine with articles not just from me, but from other people too. I think would be cool. Working on that, playing around with the idea. That stuff would, excuse me, that would hit Patreon before it hit the magazine, or Patreon would get like a full like digital version of the magazine before it went out. I don't know. It's something I'm working on. I want to do early access to merch drops via Patreon. Most of the merch drops, or I shouldn't say that. Most of every merch drop, you will get some of the stuff exclusive somehow. I don't know how to word it without setting expectations. But so the Patreon category is a huge focus in 2025. I want to keep kind of growing what that is. I tried to I tried really hard to figure out new ways to share content and to create fun, exclusive content. I kept trying to figure out these ways to do it, and then I realized one day that we've got this whole Patreon platform, and yes, they take a piece of everything you're doing, but the platform exists. It's there. Why not put stuff on there? Why not use that as a way to share stuff out? I like the newsletters that I'm putting out, and the newsletters will keep kind of going out. I'll do a monthly newsletter if you sign up on the website as a way to share kind of exclusive content and some different types of thoughts. But Patreon will be probably a little more heavy than the newsletter. The newsletter kind of falls into the website category. What am I missing as far as I have to look at my YouTube. shit, YouTube is a big thing. I don't know that YouTube will ever be an actual. I don't think it'll ever pay for itself. To put it frankly, I don't know that I'll ever want to put as much time into YouTube that you need to make it pay for itself. However, it's its own little. That's the last bucket as far as work. I really want to keep making YouTube videos. I love making YouTube videos. I struggle with the time required to make a YouTube video that I want to make. I can, and I probably should, and I probably will, keep kind of putting out some of the tasting videos behind the bar and stuff like that. I can make those fairly easily and quickly, but it's not the stuff that I want to make. It's not the stuff that really kind of speaks to me as a content consumer. Like when I get online, I don't want to just sit there and pull up a video that's just somebody standing behind a bar and tasting something. I want something else, and that to me tells me that isn't what I should be making. But I don't know. We're figuring YouTube out one video at a time. I have a couple fun videos. One is a short video and this is like this sunflower THC stuff from weed water is what I call it, from 50 West, is delicious. The stuff is all so freaking good, and I have a short video. It's like a probably not even a minute. It's a minute long, and I still have not found the time to finish the video, but working on that. It's so silly. Like I say, I'm working on it. It'll take me, a month and a half to make the video, and it's a minute long. And so people watch it and just flip right past it. Oh, it's so ridiculous. Julia says, still waiting for the Will My Car Get Towed from Little Miami video. Spoiler alert, they have not towed the car. Don't you worry. There's a lot of videos that are in process. They haven't towed the car. But yeah, I'm working on things. I have a video, the Bruckman Project. If anybody didn't see that last vlog that I think it's the last vlog that I put on the channel, I have a series of vlogs about the Bruckman video project that I'm working on. Those are all in process, and then the actual video, the Bruckman video, is also in process. I really like that one. Here's what's interesting about that Bruckman video is that it's the first one that I think starts to tie together the kind of the two sides of what I'm doing. Like the gnome side, where I just love Cincinnati beer and the history of it and the current state of it and all of that stuff. And then the side of the creation side of what I'm doing. It kind of goes behind the scenes a little bit of kind of what I do, like who I am as a creator. So it's interesting, and it kind of opens up the couple ideas for some things that I could do to kind of make some more stuff. So in there, I guess there's a couple resolutions in there. Resolutions for the gnome are to just keep making a bunch of stuff for you guys. And I hope that everybody that has supported or does support or will support what I do via Patreon or however, if you buy merch, if you share the show out to somebody, anything that you're doing that helps support this and keeps it growing and helps make this all work. I'm trying, and I'm trying to figure out new ways to keep kind of growing what this is, keep making it mean more to you guys and mean more to me, and just to be done the right way. I hope you guys realize that, because it there are definitely some months where it is tough to balance those buckets with each other. Definitely with each other. It's easy just to only look at the client work that is bringing in the most amount of money and let especially the podcast, let Cincy Brewcast just not happen. When was the last episode? It was a couple months ago. Like that hurts. Like in my soul, it hurts that there hasn't been a new Brewcast. But some months it just doesn't happen, or it can't happen, or the world conspires against me. And then there's other months where balancing all of this with family life. I've got 2 small kids, got a puppy now. All of that stuff creates chaos. There's other family situations that go on, and it's just there's a lot of things that make it sometimes hard to balance it all out. But I hope you guys know that it's I'm working on it. I'm always working on it, and it's only going to get better. So my resolutions, I guess if I had to kind of boil it all down to one thing, it's just I just want to be better at everything that I do. I'm not going to drastically change myself or anything that I do or anything that I am. I just want to do it all better. I want to drink better. I want to eat better. I want to create better. I want to share better. I want to collaborate better. Just want to do it all better, and that's what I'm going to do. That's it. In 2025, I'm going to be better, and I hope that you have something like that kind of resonates with you, and even if it's just being better. Cheers, everybody. I hope you still have something in your glass. If not, crack something else open. I'm going to work through that whole bottle. I'm listening, see if anybody's awake upstairs. Hopefully they're all asleep, and I can just sit and actually have a drink in peace and quiet. I doubt it. They're all awake. They're all sitting at the top of the stairs just waiting. Prost. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys supporting what I do. If you like this show or like anything that I do, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way. Or just share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it, because that helps too. I'm going to take a sip before I hit the music, because I actually want to take a sip. Prost. Thank you, guys. I guess that officially I will I'll see you next year. Is that too cheesy? Does everybody say that? I'll see you next year. Thank you, guys. See you later. Beer is so good. New resolution, final resolution, in 2025, at least once a month, I'm going to post something with a picture of my puppy. New resolution, doing it. Taco post once a month. That's the puppy's name, Taco. Taco Dog. He's a good boy.